Hello, you're watching VNA News and now headlines.
National OneStopShop customs mechanism is launched. Vietnam attends ASEAN General Assembly in Malaysia. Regional Conference on Solidarity with Cuba opens in Hanoi.
Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng on September 8th attended a ceremony to launch the implementation of the National OneStopShop customs mechanism and the technical connectivity with the ASEAN mechanism.
Deputy Prime Minister Vũ Văn Ninh, who is head of the National Steering Committee on ASEAN and National OneStopShop customs mechanisms, said that the move is a turning point in accelerating administrative reform towards an e-government. He also said Vietnam is determined to carry out its commitments to working with other ASEAN countries to realize the formation of the ASEAN Economic Community by the end of 2015. The government's official calls for close coordination among ministries, sectors, domestic and foreign organizations to make the ASEAN and national one-stop-shop custom mechanisms effective and beneficial to businesses and people. On this occasion, Vietnam connected the ASEAN one-stop-shop customs mechanism with Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia and Thailand.
Deputy National Assembly Chairman Huỳnh Ngọc Sơn is leading a Vietnamese delegation to the 36th ASEAN Interparliamentary Assembly in Malaysia. Now let's take a look.
This year's event drew the participation of parliamentary delegations of the IPA member countries and the observers. The opening ceremony of the event opened in Kuala Lumpur on September 8 and is scheduled to last through September 12. While speaking at the first plenary session, Sơn said Vietnam has called upon IPA members to forge ahead with cooperation and urged the governments of ASEAN member states to fulfill the mission of building key pillars for the ASEAN community. With the spirit of solidarity, cooperation and consensus, Vietnam believes that the ASEAN community will continue to promote its strength and double its efforts to complete the remaining tasks and harmonize the interests of each country with that of ASEAN for the common goal of the community, Sơn said. He proposed IPA expand its support for the governments of ASEAN member states to implement the post-2015 ASEAN community vision and design national policies to promote sustainable development factors.
The 7th Asia-Pacific Regional Conference on Solidarity with Cuba opened in Hanoi on September 8th. Vice Chairwoman of the National Assembly and President of the Vietnam-Cuba Friendship Association Nguyễn Thị Kim Ngân co-chaired the event.
The event saw the attendance of 250 delegates from 18 regional countries. National Assembly Vice Chairwoman Nguyễn Thị Kim Ngân said, despite encountering a number of difficulties and challenges in building and protecting the nation due to the face of embargoes, Cuba has made positive contribution to the struggle for peace, national independence and social advancement to people around the globe. Its position and prestige have been heightened and admired internationally, she added. President of the Vietnam Union of Friendship Associations Vũ Xuân Hồng said the conference will help delegates understand Cuban people's efforts in national construction, economic development, maintaining national security and expanding external relations amidst difficulties.
Vietnam's hosting the conference for the second time once again affirms that Vietnam is one of the countries with a strong solidarity movement with Cuba in the region. This is a chance for Vietnam to express its solidarity, affirm its continued strong attachment and connect with other regional organizations in solidarity with Cuba.
We have very good commercial agreements with many countries in Asia and a special joint commission with Vietnam. We have a very good exchange in terms of building materials and the expertise of Vietnamese people that is of a very high quality. And of course, we are receiving from Vietnam some experiences also how to do the renovation of the socialist model.
Representatives from international delegations delivered speeches expressing their sentiments for and solidarity with Cuba. Delegates also listened to a report on Cuba's outstanding achievements in recent years. The event will last until September 9th.
The Ministry of Planning and Investment forecast that Vietnam economic growth is likely to reach 6.4% in 2015. More details coming up next.
According to the ministry, Vietnam's macroeconomy is still under control despite negative impacts from regional and global economic downturns. In the first 8 months of this year, the country's industrial production index and export turnover increased by 9.9% and 9.5% respectively from the same period last year. Meanwhile, total retail sales of consumer goods and services in the period were estimated to rise 10.1% year-on-year, yielding positive signs in purchasing power and total demand. This will create a momentum to foster production and business activities and promote economic growth. In August this year, as many as 9,301 enterprises were established nationwide, with total registered capital of nearly $2.5 billion, representing increases of 41% and 41.9% respectively over the figure recorded in July. However, agriculture and aquaculture is facing challenges due to unfavorable weather, low output, and prompt reduction in export turnovers and prices. Vietnam's economy is predicted to face challenges due to plunging oil prices in the world market and complicated global financial market developments after China's devaluation of its currency.
Credit this year has grown robustly and might surpass the 15 to 17% annual target. However, commercial banks will find it difficult to balance lending and deposit sources, according to experts.
Statistics from the State Bank of Vietnam showed that credit as of August 20th rose 9.3% against December last year. In the period, credit to priority sectors rose sharply, of which lending to high-tech application sectors was up more than 29%, agricultural and rural development up 9%, and the export sector up nearly 5%. However, deposits in the period rose nearly 7.26% against December last year, lower than the 7.92% increase during the same period last year. Experts forecast that with the current rising pace, credit this year could surpass 17%, explaining that lending often rose due to higher rates in the last months of the year. Also, because of unbalanced credit and deposit sources, experts say that banks could face challenges in luring deposits. After the central bank's decision to devalue the dong by 1% and increase the trading band to 3% last month, industry insiders were concerned about an interest rate increase in the last months of the year, as demands on maintaining the dong would fall. However, the central bank late last month affirmed that it could not change the dong interest rate this year.
Vietnam's coffee output in the 2015 to 2016 harvest is likely to fall at least 20% short on the set target.
The Vietnam Coffee and Cocoa Association said the situation is attributed to long-lasting severe drought in the Central Highlands, a key coffee cultivation region. Drought has withered vast areas of coffee in Đắk Lắk, Lâm Đồng, Đắk Nông, and Gia Lai provinces. In Đắk Lắk, the largest coffee cultivation zone, nearly 48,000 hectares of coffee plants were subjected to water shortages, resulting in a decrease of from 15 to 20% in the output compared to those of the previous harvest. Apart from negative weather impacts, the coffee output reduction was caused by increasingly low economic efficiency due to aging coffee trees and slow coffee recultivation progress in the Central Highlands region. Vietnam is currently home to 671,000 hectares of coffee, making it one of the major crop earners. Last year, the country raked in $3.55 billion from coffee exports.
The export tax for sliced cassava was reduced from 5% to 0% last weekend after the Finance Ministry released a circular on revising the tax.
The decision was issued after receiving approval in principle from the Prime Minister. The ministry said they would cooperate with relevant agencies to change tariffs for the exported cassava products in the coming period. It will also evaluate ways of gradually increasing the export tariffs of cassava to match the plan for E5 biofuel production and consumption. On May 6, 2015, the ministry issued a circular to increase the tax to 5%, aiming to ensure the supply of sliced cassava, the main material for E5 biofuel production. However, the tax level created difficulties for enterprises and farmers. Last year, Vietnam imported more than 1 million tons of cassava and exported some 2 million tons of sliced cassava.
The consumption of building materials is predicted to rise in the fourth quarter this year as the real estate sector is showing signs of recovery.
The Ministry of Construction said production and consumption of building materials has increased 20% from the beginning of this year. Cement alone rose 10%. As at the end of August, the whole country has consumed 46.92 million tons of cement, up 10% against the same period last year, and reaching 65% of the yearly target. The cement consumption in August alone was 6.08 million tons, lower than that of July, but up 19% from 1 year ago. While local consumption is down, cement exports in August reached 1.25 million tons and increased 25% against the same period last year. The cement exports volume for the 8 months of 2015 was 10.9 million tons, up 17% and completing 57.3% of the year's goal. In the remaining months of this year, building materials in general and cement in particular will enter their peak consumption months. Many real estate projects are entering their final phase of completion or breaking ground, propping up the growth of the building material market.
The southern province of Dong Nai has set its goal of earning $235 million from tourism by 2020. More the following.
Dong Nai also hopes that the number of tourists visiting the province will be 5.8 million at the time. In order to achieve these goals, Dong Nai approved a 5-year tourism development plan with a vision towards 2030 that includes 28 projects with a total investment of $850 million. Of the total, the local budget will contribute from 10 to 15%. Dong Nai is home to some landscape areas suitable for tourism development, such as the Cat Tien National Park, Dong Nai Cultural and Natural Conservation, Ba Se and Hiệp Hòa and Cỏ Islands. The province is also coordinating with ministries to complete facilities supporting tourism, such as the railway line connecting Biên Hòa to Vũng Tàu, Bến Lức to Long Thành Expressway, and roads to other destinations.
Hoàng Liên Sơn Mountain Pass in the northern mountainous province of Lai Châu, long known as a rugged and impressive route for travelers, has been recognized as a national scenic site.
As part of the National Highway 4D, the breathtaking Hoàng Liên Sơn Pass, also called Ô Quý Hồ, is almost 50 kilometers long. It connects Lào Cai and Lai Châu provinces across the Hoàng Liên Sơn mountain range, which is famous for the 3,142 meters Fansipan Peak, Indochina's highest mountain. In mid-2012, the international tourism information website Global Grasshopper put the pass in the 10 most beautiful tourist attractions in Vietnam. In 2013, the Vietnam Book of Records named it as the longest pass in the country.
And that's wrap up our news bulletin. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye for now.